Making sure the radio's on still in true program director form.
Hey, what does that thing LIVE mean? Does that
Yeah,
mean we're
I don't
on?
know. I think this is it showtime? Yes, it
I
is.
think it is.
Hey, all right, man. Hey, it's DJ D Strong hanging with you today on this beautiful Saturday. It's all about the Black Room music experience. Thank you for taking the time out today to join not only myself, all the other participants, and the one and only who I will be having a conversation with, the legend himself, Doc Wynter. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. Good to be here. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have a conversation with you. And one thing I was thinking about, because we're in the business, and a lot of people might be trying to get in the business, or maybe even be in the business and not really know certain terminologies and whatnot. So before we get down to the nitty gritty, I want to talk about this cards game we're going to be playing while we do this conversation. Now,
yes.
Do you have your deck of cards?
I have my deck. This is actually a very dope deck of cards. It's black.
Okay.
So you can barely see what the cards are, but it's a little slick. And I am Jamaican, so
exactly. Keep an eye on this. With that being said, I'm going to need you to give me a shuffle on camera, please.
All right.
One shuffle on camera.
Can you see?
Now, for those of you, I see. For those of you wondering why we have these cards, we're going to be playing a game of spades during this conversation. So the way this is going to work, it's not traditional. We're going to mix it up a little bit. Every time one of us say the word music, you have to draw a card, and whoever has the most spades at the end will be the winner. You got that?
All right. So I'm counting on you to not stack your cards in the front, right?
Hey, I've been shuffling for the past 5 minutes, so I'm good.
Whatever. All right.
I'm
from New York too, so I know. I know what's going down.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
But to start this off, let's draw 2 cards.
Okay.
We should play it fair and maybe tell each other what it is, or no?
Boom.
At first? That's okay. I couldn't see, but
are we keeping it to ourselves, or are we sharing?
The first 2, let's show each other just in case.
Okay. Boom. Okay. Joker.
See, that's right. I got a queen.
Queen of spades?
Queen of hearts.
Okay.
That's
beautiful, man. Congratulations.
What you got for your second card?
All right. I got a 9 of diamonds.
9 of diamonds. I got a 5 of clubs.
5 of clubs. You're doing well, man.
Yeah, doing well. All right. So like I was saying, man, we're in the business, and others may not be in it. So, or they may be in it and may not know some of the terminology. So one thing I wanted maybe for you to give some insight on, because if somebody were to look you up or maybe even receive an email from you, your title says EVP, Hip Hop and R&B, Program and Strategy, PD, or Program Director, Real 92.3 LA, which it's a lot. That's heavy there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So, to the common person, they may not know when you do using the abbreviations EVP, OPD, feds, are you working in radio, or is it music? Oh, man.
It means you're responsible. Listen, you're responsible for a lot of stuff. EVP is Executive Vice President. So oversee all of our 70-something and counting hip hop and R&B.
70 how much?
70-something and counting.
Jeez.
Hip hop and R&B stations around the country. Hip hop, R&B. Got some gospel stations that I should probably stay away from. And then program director of Real 92.3 here in Los Angeles.
Got you. So with the 70-something radio stations, you pretty much have you're kind of overseeing everything to make sure that it's working properly from a brand standpoint and making sure everybody's kind of all on the same page, correct?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, most of these stations have program directors locally. So, my job, especially on the national front, is to, bring our best ideas to the forefront, call upon program directors like yourself and other PDs around the country to come up with ideas that we could leverage across our enterprise of urban stations. So Black History Month, MLK Day, we do a lot of world premieres. We do On the Verge programs and things like that. So it's a great job, and it's a lot of fun because I work with a lot of great people. But I think ultimately, again, people like yourself in Orlando, you're responsible for your station. So I'm just kind of the guy that just does some traffic directing.
Still a heavy load, man, to make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. And today we're actually going to be talking about, you said you oversee over 77 radio stations between hip hop, gospel, and R&B. So today we're going to talk about the real about the R&B and the birth of R&B. Now, you were
offended that y'all think that I was around at the birth of R&B, but we'll talk about that later.
No, we're gonna talk about some past things real quick though, because you gave us some information about your job title. But one thing you did not mention is that you are a ex Quiet Storm DJ in the early 90s. And you had some instrumental, you played an instrumental part in a lot of artists that we may know of today. And just kind of figuring out like, what was that like? Did you work with like a Luther or a Whitney, a R. Kelly, Keith Sweat, Jodeci? I mean, it could go on and on and on. Like, were you, instrumental?
I love my job now, but that aspect of my career, which was from like 89 to like 2003, when I got this job in 2000, that is overseeing the urbans, it went from like 5 stations to like 40 stations over the course of a year. So as my responsibilities increased geographically, I had to come off the air. But I loved it, man. I personally believe that was R&B's best time. I mean, you had music from Babyface, Luther, Whitney Houston, and they kind of broke themselves up because you had what was called traditional R&B, adult R&B, and then there was the younger skewing or young R&B, the Jodeci's, the Keith Sweats, the Blackstreets. And so the ability to play both those kinds of music, man, on the radio at night in St. Louis was crazy. I loved it, man.
So St. Louis was where you were doing radio at that time.
Yeah, Magic 108 in St. Louis. And crazy, man, I still get emails from people today. And I came off the air in 2003, so 17 years ago, asking me, you used to play this song and it had da-da-da-da-da-da. And I probably had like 3 or 4 of those. Yeah. And I'm 4 for 4. I figured out what the song was, found it on the internet, and emailed the link to the person. So my experience in St. Louis was amazing, man. The love that they showed was phenomenal, and of course I think it helps programming the fact that you've actually played the game. So you understand, what happens, the crazy fan thing that you can go through, because back then it was prior to social media, it was prior to 800 television channels. So, we were a little higher up the entertainment chain than say now. So we would get a lot of love where we went. So, but thank you for asking.
Cool, man. No, I mean, thank you for answering that. I mean, you were around a time where you're naming legends in music, and not saying that we don't have legends today, but it's clear that for a period of time, R&B as a whole seemed like it was, just trying to call it what it is, dead. Yeah. It seemed like it was a wrap, like it was done. And being from the era when, you were doing, radio shows with these R&B artists, what do you think, aided in that death? Like, what do you think were some of the things that caused R&B to just die?
I think the generation that kind of tried to cancel it, and I don't think they did it intentionally, they grew up on hip hop, and hip hop became so huge, so viral, that it just kind of took R&B's place. That factored with, from a population standpoint, I think we saw some things happen that hadn't happened previously. Traditional Black markets like New York, Chicago, you began to see these markets get flooded from the Latino community. And so now you're programming your radio station, you're not just targeting African Americans, black men, black women, you're targeting Black men, Black women, Latino men, Latino women. And so I think hip hop was the the common denominator to appeal to all 4 of those groups. Some didn't prefer R&B as much as hip hop, but everybody loved hip hop.
Gotcha.
So you saw it kind of take a back seat. I remember when I launched Real here in 2005, man, I was like, man, we might play one R&B record on this station. They just, and not that they weren't out, but they weren't performing as well. They weren't testing as well, calling out as well. as the hip hop records. And then, thank God, I think there's a resurgence, which is
it
part of the
seems
reason why
like
we're having this
it's
call.
yeah,
Oh
it
yeah,
seems
oh
like
yeah,
it's back. Maybe not as strong as it was back in the day. But with that being said, what do you think? Because from a I guess demo standpoint or nationalities, everybody, no nationalities died out. We still have the Latinos, we still have the the Caucasians, African Americans, whatever the case is. So, what do you
yeah.
think is the reason why now it's
It's
back?
making the resurgence.
Yeah, what's the cause for that? You think?
I think people have they've been exposed to it more. That generation. I think the production is more conducive to people who liked hip hop. I think melodic hip hop has already also helped their ability to digest
Mm.
this. Some of Drake's records, which you could argue are R&B. Like, what do you
You could.
classify? Yeah, what do you classify Chris and Drake's record as? Is it an
Yeah.
R&B record or is it a hip hop record? But and then in addition to that, just some amazingly talented people, man, from people like SZA and Kehlani, and by the way, my man Jeremiah, speedy recovery, because
Yeah.
he definitely aided in this resurgence. But I hope he's well. People just putting out really good music. Trey, Chris, obviously, Usher's still doing his thing, and people are beginning to say, "Man, like, yo, these records sound good," and they're beginning to test on our radio stations. So you're beginning to hear them more and more. And so I hear some people make the I think misunderstand radio that we deliberately try to cancel R&B. And I think we were just
And that's
reflecting the
not the
taste.
case.
Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
reflecting the taste of our audience, which was more eclectic now than it had been in the past.
Which makes a lot of sense. And it's interesting you said you were using Drake as an example. And at times, when certain songs are played, and my wife will even say, they're like, are they rapping or are they singing? And I'm like, I don't even know how to answer sometimes. I'm like, you know
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
It sounds melodic.
Yeah, it's melodic. Yeah,
I didn't know
it's
how to
melodic.
answer that. And with radio, being a big part, I think definitely for sure, with bringing the R&B back. Do you think the other platforms, the streaming platforms, I think now, music is just so much more
Hey, by the
accessible.
way, when you say music, when one of us says music, we're supposed to
Oh,
take another card,
damn.
right?
I
Yeah,
think
we're
I
supposed to
said
take
it
another
like
card,
twice.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, you said it,
you
and I
said it
said
to
it.
say that I said it.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
You gotta take 2 more cards.
oh
All
man, I'm
right.
sure we missed quite a few.
Yeah, we need
Okay.
a referee in here. All right,
I
so I
know we
took 2
really
more cards.
do.
Yeah.
All right. My hand's looking all right. I don't know how you looking
Yeah, I
over
took 2
there.
more. Yeah, I'm definitely winning. So good.
Oh man, I'm not looking too good over here. I'm definitely not.
Good.
Yeah, but with the R&B music, I know. Damn,
Take
I
another
just
card.
said it again. Oh man.
Take another card.
Okay,
How many cards you got now? I got
I got
5.
7.
How you got 7?
Yeah, I don't know. I got 7. I'm dropping them over here.
See, I'm going to start making comments about the fact that you're in a red state and your counting
Yeah.
procedures because you got 7 and I got 5. So I need to take 2 more.
Yeah, take 2 more.
This is how y'all were counting that day on the 3rd?
Okay. And then we started counting in a different language and it left.
All right.
Oh man.
All right.
Okay,
So
so you got
I'm
7.
7. We're
Okay.
playing spades if you're joining us late. And so every
Yes.
time one of us says music,
Bam.
Draw
Draw another one.
card. Take
Draw
another
another
card.
one.
We're supposed to pull
I'm
a
gonna
card.
call it we'll draw a card instead of the music game. I'm gonna say the M game. I'm gonna say it's the M.
You said it again.
M game.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9.
Yeah, I got 9.
All right, cool.
Okay. Man, I'm glad we didn't put any money on this game. Jeez. All right. R&B in the M game is what we're talking about, and the rebirth of it. You mentioned some artists. You said like Kehlani, SZA, in regards to it being back, and those are the new I guess tastemakers of the future kind of R&B. What is it you think that they're bringing to the game, or what other artists do you think we should maybe be on the lookout for when it comes to R&B?
I love the fact that I think there was a point where lyrically R&B at one point was, it was cute. It was nice. It was, it was the kind of music you wanted to walk down to an aisle to. then I don't know. You listen to some of these lyrics that Kaylani and Janae, like, yo, they're real, man. Like it's like hip hop, melodic hip hop, but they can really
Yeah.
sing. But they're sharing their truths, man. They're telling you about their breakups, and they're calling out their exes, their boyfriends. I mean, it's just real, and it's cathartic. It's we're in the social media era, so there's not a lot of people holding back what they got to
No.
say, and so I think the music is a reflection of that. Your other part of your question, people, did I just say music again?
I
Had to
think you
take
did.
take another
Draw a
card.
card.
Yeah,
Man.
some of the people I like Ella May. Um, I really like Daniel Caesar. I've heard some new stuff recently, so like some new artists that I really like. And obviously, like people like Keith, who is on our team as well. Keith Sweat,
Yeah.
Johnny, I still love those dudes. Babyface, who just did a new record with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. I really like that record. Love SZA, love her. Her has been such a great partner with
Yes.
us in iHeart.
Amazing.
She
Amazing.
participated in our HBCU program that we did last weekend. So man, there's just a lot of talented people on the
Um,
forefront.
it's you said something about it's almost like the R&B these days is it's not censored what these ladies are singing about, and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of Tank's song when we first that
Yeah.
one that I never
Yeah.
listened to the dirty version until
Yeah.
I don't know how long, and I was like, whoa.
See, I don't know if people realize that. Like, I know for me, I seldom listen to the unexpurgated versions because I don't play them, right? And so, you
Exactly.
might go to a club and that thing will come on, and you'd be like, "That's what
Like
he's saying." Like, that's what he's saying. Wow. Okay.
oh
Yeah. That's my
man.
guy too, though, Tank. So
And Tank is definitely I think he's a vet in the R&B game.
yeah,
And when it comes to even radio stations, whatnot, I think, recently they kind of rebranded from the, I guess, the name of urban stations or the AC stations. Do you think with them now kind of stripping those titles that we're going to see more of the younger R&B artists merging with the older ones?
I
Because
hope
I
so.
feel
I
like
hope
before
so.
the AC name kind of just made you feel a
Yeah.
little, older, but now just calling it R&B, it's like Scissors R&B, Tank is
Yeah.
R&B.
Yeah.
And
And and when we would direct records over there, the artist felt like it was the kiss of death,
mm,
which it really wasn't. There were always opportunities for them to be on the urban adult chart, or now the R&B chart, and then come over to the hip hop, or what used to be called the urban chart. But I think changing the nomenclature will help, and I also think the fact that we're seeing success with some of these records now, on the hip hop side, that you're gonna hear them on both radio stations, and those R&B stations, man, like V103 in Chicago, and uh, WDAS in Philadelphia, man, like those stations do so well
yeah,
from 18 to 64. Like, can you imagine a radio station that has 18-year-old listeners and 64-year-old listeners? It's crazy.
that is
Um,
very crazy.
yeah, so it's dope though, and we've got some really good ones.
Yeah, and I know we're cutting it close on time, but one thing I wanted to know, and I'm sure some of these other artists do as well. In the position in the shoes that you're in the music game, and how instrumental of a part you're playing with R&B music still today. What would you tell any aspiring R&B artists in today's climate about their craft, on what they should maybe do? Some of the things maybe you look out for personally, or maybe that other PDs or program directors or even labels are looking out for. What would you maybe suggest?
I just say I always encourage people to stay true to who you are. If you want to sing records, you want to see black, and you want to sing country records, like sing country records.
Yeah.
You Little Nas, look what Little Nas did.
It's
Sing.
working.
Stay true to yourself. Know that this game is not easy. There is a misconception that you can do this without radio, and I think that that's totally wrong. Like, you could have a great streaming game, but if you want to be a star, you got to be played on the radio, man. You got to become a household name, and there is no better marketing tool in the world than to have your record played on radio stations. Like, do you think Drake ignores radio? Like, we get his records too. Like, we premiere his records, and we have a relationship with his management, and they understand it. And I think some of the younger guys, especially on the hip hop side, think they can do this without radio, just because the streaming is so prevalent now. But radio is still extremely important.
It's one thing I even want to just chime real quick, because I think you're right about the artists these days. It's interesting because they say as if radio can't help them, but the people that they're looking up to are on radio. So it's like your favorite artists are on the radio. Wouldn't you want to follow the footsteps of the people that you are trying to be like? So it's kind of weird.
I think it's just the fact that, there's so many different outlets now that that may not be the one that comes to mind until you get in the car, maybe, but it's still, incredibly powerful. We reach 9 out of 10 Americans every week across our platform of 850 radio stations. And, from the African-American and Latino community, nobody reaches more people than we do. And so it would make sense to have a relationship with us and let us play your music if possible, so.
And I think we're almost there to wrap it up. You just said music
again. Yeah.
Yep. So go ahead, pull your card. Yeah. And I think maybe now we should maybe count up to see who won this little spades game.
First, actually,
how many cards you got?
I got see your 1, cards, please.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I
got 11.
9, 10. I have 11 cards.
How many spades you got?
And so the winner is the person that has the most spades?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So.
And I haven't seen you pull any cards personally, but I'm gonna trust that you're a man. You're a Jamaican man of your word.
You can see that. Where's the camera? Oh, there it is. So so you can see that's a club.
Yep. Okay.
This is a diamond.
Okay.
And then all the rest of my cards are spades. No, I'm playing. Hold on.
I still think you got me. I'm gonna be honest. I got 2 spades, man. Listen.
Oh, I'm not even gonna count then. You lost 2 because I got hella spades 2. In here. I got 1. I got the queen of spades. I got the joker. I got the 8 of spades. I got the 10 of spades. I got the 4 of spades. So send me my money, man.
I'll cash app you.
You got my Venmo?
I'm that spades partner right now you do not want on your side. But man, thank you for taking the time out today, man, and giving us, some insight on the birth of or the rebirth of R&B. We really appreciate it. And hopefully we get to do something like this again, during times like this. This is how we're doing conferences and meetups and link ups. So
I love stuff like this, man. And big up to the BLK team, man. Y'all did a great job with this. Thank you for inviting me. It's up to my family around the country that's all watching. Appreciate you guys.
All right, looks like Young Scholar's back. Not the building, in the room. What we call this? In the virtual room. He's back in the virtual room.
What's up, man? Hey, I was trying to get my camera together. Man, look here. Y'all was dropping some gems inside this discussion. I ain't gonna say a lot to you. Learning a lot from you, Strong, throughout my entire career. You done taught me, D-Royale, so much. Sitting here listening to you again, dropping some more gems with Doc, the GOAT legend. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all so much for coming in here and dropping these gems. It means a lot. I'm going to clap it up for you. Y'all can clap it up in the chats too, man. Feel free to use that chat if you haven't already done so. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm not that good at the game, so I'm gonna try my best. I've been learning from both of y'all because I got a couple of spades, but I ain't got like what y'all got. Listen, I know one thing, I'm not gambling with anybody Jamaican. I don't know.
That's smart. That's smart. You might lose a foot or something. We'll cut you.
Look, fellas, we're gonna keep this thing going though. We gotta give a big shout out to our sponsors and our vendors that are in here. Shout out to Sean John. All right, big up to them. I like that. I know y'all got some Sean John over there too.
We do. I didn't know I had to put it on. I would have put it on.
This was really dope what y'all did, man.
I just love free stuff, so I put mine on.
You don't see my camera, right?
Yo, Doc with it. I see you.
I love it.
Shout out to Melanin Rainbow as well, Fox Soul, Bright Sellers Wine, Simply Naked Candles, and Luna Plus backpacks, hooking it up for real. So now that we're done with this, fellas, we about to hop into another ham in the booth situation where a talented independent artist is about to do that thing. And guess what? She's a singer. R&B. We're just talking about that. Let's hop into it, man. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Nadege Nightingale.